kick off this whole weekend, we did a class focused on what?
Telescope.
To telescope or not to telescope. If you were Shakespeare and you danced tango, would be one way to title it. What's another way to title it? Going deeper, what are we looking at? Style versus structure. Okay, and in the end, we find that they're what? They're sort of connected, yes. You can try to separate them, and you can probably philosophically discuss this with me later. And we're specifically focusing on the physical structure versus style thing. In what means? Like, what are we using in an example? What's the first two exercises we did in class?
She says, bodies and arms.
Yeah, thanks, Karen. So we did an exercise with just, what's this embrace?
Sugar bowl.
Sugar bowl.
Okay, followers held onto the handles, not the shoulders. And then the second exercise was what?
Arms only.
Yeah, attempting arms only, but like the astronaut analogy, you do have, in this case, the ground underneath us. So you're using the earth no matter what. Even the guy who's just using, or the leader, sorry, who's just using their arms, quote unquote, is still having some sense of their body, the axis, and the earth underneath them. And the idea is no matter what amount of body axis versus arms, just arms that you use, what do you want to do? Followers, how do you want to feel?
What is the goal?
Comfortable, and if the leader is doing like a repeated pattern, what are you listening for as a follower? What are you hoping that his lead will be? Not, you're right, the other, right. Clear, consistent, comfortable. Okay, and there are many ways to do it, leaders. So that should give you a sense of relief that during the rest of the weekend, you can add a variation to your lead and still be successful. Okay. Now, some of the patterns that we showed you in this class were, how did we start?
She.
Yeah. Vice versa, she goes, he goes, or he goes, she goes. I guess we'll show you real quick. Do you want to do it? So, okay. And what are the different ways to lead this?
Communicate.
The two main ideas, maybe.
That we covered.
First one was Homer was doing it a lot. That's what.
Shift axis.
Center out, spin, sit back. Yeah.
Telescope my arms and hang back a little for counterbalance. And then B was just what? Maybe good for close embrace?
It's just what?
Shift and axis.
Yeah, so it's just projection forward.
Well, but to be honest with you, sometimes what is counterweighting? As you saw when you tried to do what?
She goes, she goes.
Yeah, two she goes. Right? Remember the trick to try to stay up and lead a short first step. And try to use mostly your axis, so when you telescope, you have a chance.
You still have arm range. Yeah, she's not so far away from you, or you're not so overextended leaders that you lose your ground. So it's really just being efficient on managing what you project first, whether with your axis and your body first or with your arms, depending on what kind of movement you want to create.
Followers, what are you taking from this first class, even though it appears to not have a lot to do with following?
What are the lessons, ladies? Oh no! Should I be fired?
How we respond.
Yeah, how we respond.
How to translate it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have a follower if you don't have a leader, so the two kind of go hand in hand. So to say that even though the class isn't about followers, it really is, because if you don't lead, you can't have a follower.
Yeah.
That person.
What I'm going to try to repeat what Homer said. What were the 3 C's that we are trying to really understand from our leaders?
Clarity.
Clarity. Yeah, and this takes work. Yeah, ladies, besides the work that we need to do in our bodies. What did we learn about the Tai Chi Tango?
You need to not react too much. I was moving too much. I need to
Yes.
give back the same amount of
Equal.
compression. Yes.
Equal compression, besides being responsive. Yeah, and at the right time.
And there's one big word that begins with W. Actually, it's only 4 letters. And this is like a hard thing to do as a follower.
Wait. Wait. Wait.
Yeah.
You gotta wait.
Okay, so when I follow Cristina and she does her own style of leading, when we started doing the next patterns, I really had to wait. I might have my own ideas as a leader, but now that I'm following, I really have to wait for her. Do you want to do that next part?
Oh, just the she goes with the weight change?
Yeah, so the last chapter was a lot of she goes.
So in the she goes with weight change, we also kind of covered 2 styles. And for me, as a leader, what am I employing most?
Upper body.
Shoulders and
Back.
elbows and back.
Yeah. What are my elbows doing?
Extending and flexing.
So what is it not doing?
Sticking up.
This one. Yeah, so I'm creating, the very first thing I do when I try something like this is I create a consistent and clear framework from my embrace, whether I put compression or not. It's like creating a cage for my follower, and that's the perimeter that I'm giving them to move into. And then the rest is really just projection forward, whether with my rib cage or with my back, my lats. Okay. And then the way Homer does it is what?
Everything.
Everything.
Hips.
Salsa type.
Yeah, he's a little bit more curvy. He has more curves.
I have to remember to breathe because I'm using a lot of compression at different points in this.
Yeah, it's changing all the time. Okay? Okay. And then the last thing was what?
Body smack.
Before the,
No.
before the body slam. The body slam was just the dessert. It wasn't really part of the chapter. The last part of this second chapter was leading the ludicrous movement. Do you remember, Sean?
Yes.
So adding a side step and then side step back. I have to try to lift my partner, then settle, and hopefully she gets the idea.
Again, leaders, you can use your left arm to kind of cage her so she doesn't feel like she has the freedom to take that side step.
And this is a very awkward weight change to be diagonal to each other and lead
This-
weight change.
Yeah?
And the difference between weight change versus side step. I try to lift and hold her up. Lastly, to make all this stuff go a little smoother, leaders, what's one little secret? Before you do a together, before you just do she goes, what can you do?
Do it yourself with her.
You do it with her, exactly. So we can do it with Cristina. And before she knows it, she's like, wait, you didn't do it.
Yeah.
So consistency is really important as a leader, and setting your partner up so she gets the next joke is really important too. So there's a lot of psychology involved.
Okay.
There's more than one way to lead, or if you will, follow. Great, should we do like a little half song demo?
Okay.
Are you going to use gato again?
Gato, del sombrero los zapatos, gato, se denuncia con